And Yahuah Elohim formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. And so, we have been taught that the soul is this being that dwells deep down on the inside of us. But according to the scriptures, the soul is a combination of the breath of Yah, the nefesh of Yah, and the flesh, okay, that's made from dust. Okay, and so Yahuah Elohim formed man out of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostril the breath of life, and man became a living soul. It is the complete man that is a soul. Breath combined with flesh, that is a soul. Okay, so do souls die according to the scriptures? Because Christianity tells us that the soul of man never dies. That the soul of man never dies. Okay, so again we're taught that the soul never dies. But again there's a problem with that. Because if the soul never dies, then it makes us immortals. And only Yah, the scripture tells us, is immortal. It is only Yah who lives forever and ever. Okay, and so the fact that they teach that the soul never dies is itself also a false teaching. In Ecclesiastes 18:20 we're told, the soul that sinneth, it shall die. Okay, the soul that sinneth, it shall die. And again, that verse again makes the point that the soul is a combination of the breath of Yah and the flesh. Okay, and so when Yah breathed into the nostril of man that he created from the ground, man became a living soul, and the soul that sinneth, it shall die. In Revelation 16:3, it says that every living soul died in the sea. Every living soul died in the sea. So the question is, do souls die? And the answer is yes, they do, because if they don't, then it makes the thing created immortal, and only Yah is immortal. In Job 4:17, it answers the question: Is man immortal? Job 4:17, shall mortal man be more just than Elohim? Okay, shall mortal man? That's the key there. That's what we're looking at. Job tells us. Well, this isn't Job speaking, but man is mortal, is what the scripture tells us, meaning that we expire. Okay, shall mortal man be more just than Elohim? Okay, so man is mortal. Now, does the righteous go to heaven when they die? The scripture says this, John 5:28 through 29, marvel not at this, for the hour is coming in which all that are in the graves shall hear his voice. Notice that he did not say that all that are in the heavens shall hear his voice. Okay, but marvel not at this, for the hour is coming in which all that are in the grave shall hear his voice, and shall come forth, they that have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation. Okay, and so the hour cometh. This is Yahusha speaking, and he says the hour cometh when all that are in the graves shall hear his voice. Not all that are in the heavens that died and went to heaven, because nobody died and went to heaven, but all that are in the grave, in the place where they are sleeping until the resurrection. And verse 29, and shall come forth, they shall come forth, they that have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation. If they were never dead, then they would not need to be resurrected. Acts 2:29 and 34 says, in verse 29, men and brethren, I think this was Peter speaking, men and brethren, let me freely speak unto you of the patriarch David, Dawood, that he is both dead and buried, and his sepulchre is with us unto this day. His grave is with us unto this day. Verse 34, For David is not ascended into the heavens. Now, keep in mind, because in Christianity, they'll tell us also that when Yahusha went and he preached to the souls in hell, okay, that they went to heaven with him, okay, and that's not the case. Now, this is David. If anybody went, then David should have went. After all, Yah called him the apple of his eye, right? And so Yahusha had resurrected and had gone back. Now, this is Cephas preaching. And he said, Men and brethren, let me freely speak unto you of the patriarch David, that he is both dead and buried, and his sepulchre is with us unto this day. Verse 34, For David is not ascended into the heavens, but he said himself, Yahuah said unto my master, Sit thou on my right hand. And so to this day, David is still in the grave awaiting the resurrection. Okay, and so and there are many more verses. I just that's not the study we're doing right now. I just wanted to point out those few, just to show how how we have been taught, and even how the scriptures, the Bible, how it has been translated to make it seem a certain way, because it has been translated from a Christian perspective, with Christian doctrine, or Christian preconceived notions as its guide. And so even the very way that they place commas, something as simple as a comma, they'll use something as simple as a comma to change the truth of the scriptures. Okay, let's where were we at? Verse okay, so that was verse 13, where he says, For now should I have lain still and been quiet, I should have slept, that then had I been at rest, with kings and counselors of the earth, which built desolate places for themselves. And so he's saying that the kings are sleeping also. They are at rest. Okay? With kings and counselors of the earth, which built desolate places for themselves, or with princes that had gold, who filled their houses with silver, or as an hidden untimely birth I had not been, as infants which never saw light. There the wicked cease from troubling, and there the weary be at rest. There the prisoners rest together. They hear not the voice of oppressors, meaning they have no consciousness. Okay, they have no consciousness. The small and great are there, and the servant is free from his master. Talking about the grave. Wherefore is light given to him that is in misery, and life unto the bitter in soul, which long for death, but it cometh not, and dig for it more than for hid treasures, or for hidden treasures. Okay, so wherefore is light given to him that is in misery, and life unto the bitter in soul, which long for death, but it cometh not, and dig for it more than for hidden treasure, which rejoice exceedingly.